Hi everyone, and welcome to another piece discussion video, this time focused on the piece Looking from the series ILY2. ILY2 is an 8-piece series in the postmodern body of work that explores the transcendent power of human connection over the technological means through which it's transmitted. Ultimately, all of it encompassing this notion that what began online, begins through our communication, is ultimately meant to prefigure an actual human connection in person, in physical, that will eventually take place. For a more comprehensive look at ILY2, you'll find an overview for the series in the description down below. To begin the discussion, I want to start with the title of this piece, Looking, as well as its order within all 8 pieces in the series ILY2. This piece is very much meant to be an introduction to the series. It's meant to function as a bridge for ILY2 and its preceding sister series, ILY. It employs the trappings of ILY while subtly introducing what is different about this new turn in direction with ILY2. And that's why I describe it especially as a directional shift. Now, the title itself is meant to suggest that there's a sense of voyeurism that remains, because that was a hallmark of ILY. But there's something maybe a bit different here. I wanted to create a sense of playfulness. Looking is the verb, the action, the unfolding, yet who is it that is really looking? I wanted to employ a deliberate sense of ambiguity that ties ILY into this series, again, as a bridge, as a keystone connecting, but is more lighthearted, more inquisitive than suspicious. Now, regarding the composition of this piece, you'll notice in the back corner, there's the view of a car passing by a window behind the figure. And there's also the corner of a bookshelf or a desk that's kind of snuck on the left side of the picture plane as well. There's more introduction of warmer tones in this corner. It's the environment around the figure that's starting to appear a bit warmer. And I wanted to make that sense that this space is real, that this space is more physical, particularly in comparison to what came before in ILY. The text that's over top of the figure is not necessarily bound by that particular text box. It's starting to break down a little bit, and text's utilization becomes more aligned with the figure as a whole. It appears as though the text is not so much overcoming the figure, but that it's actually coming more from the figure. With regards to scale, this piece maintains the 8 inches by 8 inches dimension, which was previously found in ILY. And in this case, it's starting small, it's starting gentle, it's starting quiet in a lot of ways. And that's why I wanted to continue that sense of similarity in scale from ILY to ILY2 with Looking. Moving into the conceptual identity of this piece, as I said, it's meant to be a bridge that connects ILY and ILY2. And in that sense, I wanted to carry on that sense of anonymity and voyeurism that was found in ILY. Those first 4 pieces are exploring the one-sided relationship that we can tend to have with images online. And I wanted to continue that to a degree because, in a sense, the voyeurism, it does continue in this case. But with Looking, the tables are beginning to turn, and the control is placed back in the hands of the figure. This is where the text comes in place. Her words, "But I see you." She's no longer the one being viewed, but rather the viewer. And this is again to confirm the title of this piece, that indeed, the looking is no longer happening on part of the viewer, but rather it's coming from the figure herself, that her agency has returned, and she's no longer the object of affection necessarily. I also wanted this idea to confirm the life inherent to the piece, that there is someone on the other side of the image, that there is someone on the other side of the screen, that there is someone on the other side of this connection. No longer is it a matter of being viewed, that the figure in the piece is the viewed, but rather she is becoming the viewer herself, and she is reciprocating the looking. With regards to the emotional identity, I really wanted this piece to embody that sense of spark, that there's an intrigue, that there is light as the figure beholds what is on the outside of this piece and not being held captive by the viewer looking upon the piece itself. I wanted the sense of stoicism previously found in ILY to break down with Looking. I wanted suddenly this piece to have a sense of life that as soon as you look at it yourself, there's sort of an energy coming back to you. You recognize that you are no longer the one gazing, but perhaps being gazed upon. I wanted to embody also a sense of a gradual awakening from a cold slumber into a warmer spring. It's a gentle start with looking. I wanted it to be very quiet, but I wanted the emotions to sort of bubble gently, like a little effervescence, rather than being really boisterous and buoyant at the start. I wanted there to be a suggestion of something warm. And again, that returns to the title. It returns to the concept that there is a bit of playfulness here, that something is hinted at, that there's a warmth, that there is a sense that something is happening in a beautiful way, but it's quiet, but it's subtle, but it's small. And so I wanted this piece to emotionally really connect with that just gentle point of interest, that we move from the ILY, we move from those first 4 pieces, and we get to this 5th that is the first piece in ILY 2, but could almost be the 5th in ILY, and suddenly we have a shift, and it's palpable, and it can be experienced, but it's subtle. I think I'll stop there for now. Thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about this piece, and I hope you'll share it with anybody else who might find it worthwhile. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next one, take care.